Hey everybody, welcome back to Bad Astro. This video I'm going to talk about Siril again. I talked about Siril scripting in one of the more recent videos that I did, which has admittedly been a while now, but I was novice at using scripts back then. Still am, but I have a better understanding of how Siril uses those folders and where we should be putting our scripts when we create our own. So I just want to make that clear and toss that information back out into the wild. This video also assumes you have a rudimentary skill set working with Siril, so it's not a beginner's kind of thing as far as like how do we download it, how do we install it, how do we set it up. I will be talking about those aspects of Siril, but as they relate to getting yourself set up, starting to use and modifying and creating your own scripts. Why are scripts so important? Well, they make the processing of images just simpler. It's more of that automated approach. And while that is great, I wanted to inject some of my own judgment into the one-shot color pre-processing script that Siril uses that comes automatically, loaded into the software when you download it and open it up. If you had 100 pictures and you didn't peruse through them first to find satellites and planes and clouds, and sometimes it's hard to even just tell when there's high clouds. It's hard to see if like this picture A is better or worse than picture B. So kind of what I wanted was to be able to take advantage of some of Siril's image evaluation tools, what it looks at when it registers them, the full width half max of the stars, and there's a plot that it provides and shows you all of the information. And then, let's say you did go through and you pulled out all the planes with the satellite and the satellites, all those images, and for me, I still want to be able to review the data again one more time, and then use the tools that are in Siril to help me decide, where should my cutoff be, and at what point should I start qualifying images as quote unquote trash. So that's kind of the background of why I'm looking at scripts in the way that I am. You can also, in addition to the additional review of the data, you can use scripts like I have a couple of different scripts that create just a flat master file, or a new dark master file, or a new bias master file. And then you can use your scripts to insert those master files so that you don't have to sit there and wait for Siril to generate the master flat, the master bias, the master dark before it starts to calibrate your lights every single time that you want to process an image. So it can really save time, and it can really save some space as far as what Siril starts to take over on your hard drive, which it can be a monster if you let it. So how do we even start? Well, the first place that I start, I make my way to my desktop. And on my desktop, I'll put a new folder. I'll call it Siril Scripts, if it'll let me rename it. Siril Scripts. All right, cool. Tuck that guy up there. And I will, actually, you know what? I'm going to open that. Tuck that over there. And then we want to get to the location where the scripts are saved in Siril, because I like to use those scripts as a springboard. Now, if you do happen to go to Siril's website, which I had up earlier, but I'm not going to bring it back up, there's a whole section in Siril's website devoted to scripts, and there are people that have script libraries already built, and you can go peruse those. And this may not be of any value to you at all sitting and watching the rest of this video, just go over to Siril's website and look through the scripts that they have. But if you are interested in continuing, go ahead and, you know, if you'd be so kind, hit that subscribe button. Maybe like the video at the very least. It's really a small channel at the moment, and it helps out. So if I go ahead and navigate to applications, and then I'll find Siril. From there, right click and show package contents. Double click contents. Double click resources. Double click share. Double click Siril. And there's that scripts folder. Double click the scripts folder. And now I've got a list of scripts, and these will be the same scripts that are in the script dropdown within Siril. Let me pop back open Siril scripts. Go ahead and highlight this one-shot color processing, because this is kind of where I started. And I'll click duplicate. My password. And so now I have this copy. So if you try to edit this in here, it's going to tell you that you don't have permissions to edit that. And you also don't have permissions to drag it out. The other thing is that even if you did have permissions, I still want this as an option. I mean, sometimes there's certain situations where I do want it to just go through all the steps for me. But, you know, when I'm being a little more discriminatory with my images, I'll want to make some choices along the path. So I'm going to grab this one-shot color preprocessing copy, and while I hold options on my keyboard, drop it into that Siril scripts folder. So now I have a copy of it over here. I will go back over into my main Siril application scripts folder, and I'm going to delete this copy of this. It's going to want my password again. Yours may not, depending on the permissions you have set up. But the reason I did that is because I don't want there to be a one-shot color pre-processing, another one-shot color pre-processing with copy at the end, and then another one over here in my Siril scripts bucket. So at this point, I want to open this file in TextEdit. And this is the script. This is all it is. And so really what you're looking at, it's giving you what it needs, those 4 different file directories. And then this section is creating your bias frame and making that master bias stack. This section is creating your flat and then making your master flat. Here you have your darks and creating your dark master. And then we finally get into converting your light frames, calibrating your light frames. It registers and aligns them. And then if you don't stop it, it goes right into stacking it. And so it's here where I want to put the brakes on Siril. So I do this by just putting, I comment everything out. Oops. And to comment something out, you just put a pound sign or a hashtag in front of it. So for the rest of this script, I'm going to, on each line, at the start of each line, I'm going to comment it out. Because I basically want, you know, like I said, I want it to stop after it registers. And yeah, sure, you could delete all this stuff. And you could use, you know, that other script that I showed you as a reference point in the future if you wanted to build this back, but it's kind of a pain to navigate to, honestly. And you know, why not? I mean, it's just simple. Just put comments, comment them out, just like all this stuff is up here. It's all commented out. All right, so with that part done, we'll want to save our work. So you could Command S, or I'm just gonna save it. Close that. And I've now just edited this. Now in my drop down in my Siril script, I don't necessarily, you know, want to look at it with this title. So I'm going to rename it. I'll just call it my one-shot color pre-processing, and I'll get rid of this word copy there. All right. So at this point, I think I'm ready to go ahead and open Siril. So let's call forth Siril, if I can. All right, that opened on my other screen. Cool. So Siril is pointing its home folder to my pictures. That's fine for now, but hopefully, if I click drop down, I won't see the script that I created, but I do still see that one-shot color. So these are those same scripts that we were just looking at within Finder. So if I come over to this menu button over here, and I go to preferences, and I come down to scripts, you can see these are all of the script storage directories. So there are quite a few places that are already out there. There's some under your username, under Siril, under scripts. So you don't necessarily even need to create a folder on your desktop. I just do it. I don't know how to have it. But if you do that, then you do also need to know, the address for it. So we need to put in that script directory. And for me, the easiest way to go about it is to find that folder and to open terminal, and then I just changed into that directory. So if I just drag this over, there's the directory name. I don't even need the CD in front of it. So anyway, you go ahead and highlight that entire directory. You know what? Before I do that, Siril has a problem with this space. I forgot about that. So before I do that, I'll close terminal. Let me rename Siril scripts. I'm going to put an underscore here. Okay, that should work. All right, we'll reopen terminal. Drag that directory over. There's the name. I'm going to Command C to copy that. Back over into Siril. It needs to be on a new line, on its own line. And then we're going to paste that in. So now I have the directory where I have my modified scripts. Click refresh, then apply. And I don't even have to restart the software anymore. It should just be right here. There it is, my one-shot color processing. So now I have a script that will run up to the point of stacking, stop, allow me to evaluate the data from that point, and then initiate starting kind of more in a manual context, which is something I can elaborate on in a future video. If you would like me to, just put it in the comments in the bottom. I'll be happy to work on that, show you guys how to do that. So that's the basic gist on how to get your own script into a space where it's accessible to you while you're working with Siril. I did mention that there are additional scripts, so if you're still hanging on watching the video, thanks. I really appreciate it. Like I said, maybe give it a thumbs up. But if you are interested in exploring other scripts, it's pretty easy. Go back to that same menu, and there is a Get Scripts option here. Clicking on that takes you to the scripts section. So if you want to educate yourself on how to use the scripts, if you want to add your own custom scripts in a custom script folder, these are basically the steps that I just went through. If you want to use the built-in scripts, it gives you information about kind of what it's doing. What are each of the different scripts calling out of Siril, and how are they functioning? Getting more scripts, you can go to this GitHub and pull down and peruse through the library of scripts that are there. So, and then finally writing your own if you're wanting to take it to the next level. So I really hope that this video finds you well and you find it useful. So until next time, you guys all be safe and take care. Thanks for watching.